what about boots? Kind of working our way down here. Are there? I know we've got some different brands here. They're different styles, or
So we can start with something entry level. It's said kind of often here at the Edge, I like to call myself the boot guy. I love boots.
that's a boot junkie.
I just go through the motions and I try to kind of pick, hey, motions. Fun fact, we've got the motion boot here that I would love to show you in a minute too. I like to go through these and kind of tailor fit them to each rider. So if I got a beginner rider with me who's buying his first bike here with us at the Edge, which we are so gracious for, we like to get them fit into something that's going to work for them. So if they just plan on riding it, whether it's in the fields at their little farm that they got, or if they're just barely getting into trail riding and they're not super into it yet, but they want a good boot to keep them protected,
Sure.
we'll lean with something towards this Fox Comp here, or the Alpinestars Tech 3. Really good boots. They're great for the price level that they're at. They're going to start roughly around the $250 range for both sets of boots. What's really nice about them is they're going to offer hard plastic in the front. Hard plastic in the front is kind of a really nice thing to have on boots, because if you're getting roosted, or even if you're getting like a stick that's going to poke out and hit these, it's going to hit this hard plastic and kind of deflect off. The Foxes have a really good kind of system that I like as well. In their higher end boots, they use materials called Duratec and Ultratec. What that is this kind of grip that goes along the inside. If you're wearing a cowboy boot, like I've got on right now, these aren't going to grip your bike very well. If you wear these, you're going to get some good contact point to the frame, which we were touching on a little bit earlier. You want to have a good riding posture, and a lot of that starts with how your feet are gripping the bike. What's really nice about these new Fox boots is they have this kind of raised like padding right here, which if you're riding with the correct posture, you're supposed to have the peg about right here on your foot, and you want your toes kind of pointed and angled inward a little bit so you can grip the upper part of the bike with your knees. So you can kind of take a little bit of weight off your arms.
Nice.
Fox does a really good job with their new boots. They're all new for this year with the grip. And they made a very good point to kind of start that out in their entry-level boot. With an entry-level boot, you're not going to get a hinge. Hinge offers a little bit more mobility while also keeping the stiffness. So with that, their entry-level boots are going to be a little more flexible because they don't have that hinge.
Okay.
So they're going to be a little softer, a little more comfortable for kind of the basic starting out rider.
Say maybe a newer rider, they might want a little extra flexibility anyway. So
exactly.
Yeah.
And then with their entry-level boots, they're going to come with a little bit less kind of technology with them. What really key about that is that with their entry-level boots, these buckles here are going to be plastic.
Okay.
A little more prone to breaking, but again, if you're a beginner-level rider, it's going to be pretty rare that you
Well,
get these.
I mean, we all always end up upgrading anyway as
Absolutely.
our skills improve. So
Yeah, so I like to say often you pay for what you get.
Sure, yeah.
With a beginner, these are great boots to start out with. That last you for a year or two, and then you upgrade to something bigger and a little bit better.
nice.
That's kind of a starting out entry-level boot. They're great. Anything you get in any sort of price range is going to work for an entry-level rider with these. The next boot that we'll jump to, that I use a little bit higher version of these, but these are an off-road boot. So what's going to come with an off-road boot is they're going to be built very similar to just a standard motocross boot, but they're going to have an off-road sole.
Okay.
So what these are going to be, they're going to have a little bit more in-depth raised material, so that you can get a little bit more grip in wet conditions, or even just like regular trail conditions. So if you're in a situation where you got to hop off the bike and push it a little bit, you're going to have some grip so you can move around a little bit, which is really nice. And I found that in wet conditions, an off-road sole is going to be great because you still get traction when you're slipping around.
Probably good for a pivot turn there, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So that's one thing I wish I had with my Instincts is an off-road sole. So Fox Racing, if you're listening, please put a Instinct X out again, because they are great.
Nice.
When you move up into these kind of mid-end boots, these are going to jump to a bigger price gap. So the Alpinestars Tech 7 is going to start at $419 right now. They may see a little bit of a price increase, but As of right now, they're starting at $419, and then the Motion and the Motion X are $419 and $429 respectively. The Motion X is the off-road version, and that's really the only difference between the two.
Oh, okay.
With that $400 price range, yeah, let's hear your question.
So those people that are like members of a dirt bike community and things like that, if they come in with that reference, are there any discounts or anything like that available?
Absolutely. So we're working on something right now to kind of discount for the dirt bike community, because it's a lot of the community that sticks around here at Edge, and even that support local dealerships in the state of Utah. So if you come in and mention the dirt bike community, we're more than willing to help everyone out. But yeah, we can get it set up for sure. But yeah, anyone that comes in and mentions the dirt bike community, even if you don't, we're going to take care of you and make sure that you're fit into something really good. But if you mention the dirt bike community, we'll for sure get you a little bit of a discount, kind of help you out in your riding adventure, for sure.
I think on that topic too is, I mean, we've been talking about fitting our gear, making sure it's going to work for us properly. If you're buying stuff off the internet, gang, you're not going to have this connection. You're not going to have that conversation. They're not going to be able to fit you properly. I've seen it so many times where someone buys gear off the interweb and they end up putting it on and it fits like garbage. They send it back, then they're doing this big old back and forth thing where you can get quality information, quality knowledge right off the bat. And unfortunately, when you do all your shopping off the internet, places like us go away. So definitely support your local teams out there, because we definitely we want to see you ride right and have a good time out there as well.
Kind of touching on what Rob's saying there, when you do come in for a fitting, like we're setting you up head to toe, honestly, it's gonna take us at least an hour to hour and a half per person. So if we're doing a family of 5, you could be here for about 4 to 5 hours, but we're not skipping anything.
No.
We're not just grabbing a helmet and saying this is the one. We're going, hey, put this one on, put this one on. All right, let's go do boots. Everybody, let's try on this boot. And I mean, if it's a family of 5, yeah, we can do multiple people at the same time, but we're checking everything as we go.
That's awesome. Nice.
So,
Yeah, there's countless days where we'll have a guy buying a bike. He comes in at 9:30 in the morning, right when we open, and they're not leaving here till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And a lot of that is we're taking a lot of care when it comes into fitting people with, 1, the bike that they're going to need, and 2, with all the gear that they're going to need, and then Rob with his fantastic walk around where he shows you literally everything on the bike. So we take a lot of care of the guys that come in here and support us. Like Rob's saying, if you're buying stuff off the internet, I get it, it works in a pinch, but it really helps us out when you're buying it here and supporting the local guys. So what another benefit to that, when you come in here, you get to hear all of our experiences and our stories, so we get to share that with you, and that's part of the fun part of our job. I say it often when guys are apologizing for taking up so much of my time to talk about some of the stories they have. I say often it's half of my job. So it's very fun for me. I enjoy being in the power sports industry because I get to support people that are supporting me. So it's really awesome. And like I'm saying, there's sometimes where it takes me 3 hours to fit a guy into everything, because we're having fun, we're chit-chatting the whole time, and we're getting everything literally perfect and dialed. So it's probably the most fun job I could have.
Nice. Now, Garrett, I know you're using this as a general purpose, but we have gear for men, women, kids, all different types, right?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic.
So we're making a point now. We're gonna rearrange a little bit so that it's a little easier to kind of guess where everything is. So right now we have it set up so that youth stuff is going to be in the front parts of the stack of everything. So we do have a wide selection for youth riders. Our dealership here, we put on the Mini MX League that you can find on Facebook. But we support all the kids that are growing up racing and make it a lot easier for them to get to races and get the experience. So up to 18, we offer a league every summer, and it's just a good way to get into it. So yeah, we've got a wide selection for kids.
It's good stuff. Yep.
Women riders are huge. Women keep the sport going. The more women we can get into the sport is awesome.
Definitely.
It's fun for everyone to enjoy. So when we get a chick that likes to ride and rip, it's very fun for us because we get to experience it almost in a whole new way.
Right.
Our GM Randy, he was telling me a little bit of a story about this lady that races a Hayabusa, so street bike, and it's good to have gear in the dealership so we can help female riders. But for sure, we got a
Awesome.
wide selection for everyone.
Well, let me ask you this: do you think it's harder to buy a bike or pick out a bike, or does it take more time to pick out your gear?
Oh, absolutely, gear.
Gear,
Parts, so much harder. Lately, we've had this promotion from Husqvarna Gas and KTM, where you get $1,500 of parts for free is one of the promotions you can
Wow,
use.
that's pretty hot.
And that applies for gear as well. And
Nice.
picking gear is hard
That-
for sure. I can pick out a bike in about 45 minutes. It takes me like 4 or 5 days to pick out the set
Exactly.
of gear that I want.
Well, I always made the joke: you can sell the bike, don't ever sell your gear. The gear's harder to gather up than the
Yep.
bike is. So
For sure.
that's one thing I've always kind of had in mind.
Gear's a little bit of a second wind.
Exactly.
You get the
exactly.
excitement of buying the bike, and then right after you get excitement of buying gear.
Right.
But for sure, it's harder to pick gear.
Good deal.
Absolutely.
Well, gang, I hope that kind of covered the gambit for you a little bit, gave you a little bit of taste on some things you can look for. One thing we really encourage, if you're not in our local area, definitely develop a contact with your local dealership. Develop a rapport with them. That way you can go in, you can talk to cool folks, and they're going to be able to fit you properly, get you dialed in. Because their end goal is they want you to be safe out there, and they want you to come back. They don't want you to just see you go off into the dust and never see you come back again. Because we want to hear those stories too. We want to hear what kind of adventures you're having out there. And just like we were talking about a little earlier, we are planning on getting a big group ride together. Maybe we can do kind of a little luncheon in between and kind of keep everyone's energy up, and we can do a little group session and just talk about things that are pros and cons on what we're doing out there, and just make everyone a better rider and have more fun out there. So I hope that works out great. I had a great time spending my time with Garrett and Brian here doing a little gab session.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, good deal. Got anything to add, Brian? Or
Anyone that's on the dirt bike community or anyone that sees this video that has questions, don't be afraid just to stop by and come in and talk.
Yep.
We love to talk. If you can't stop by, give us a call. We'll answer your calls on the phone. It's not as fun as in person, but we'll answer them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. We're here for everyone. We appreciate everyone that's in any sort of community that helps us out.
You know, the dirt bike communities are worldwide, so if they have questions and things like that, if they just send a message, would you be able to answer those questions?
Absolutely. So we have a text line set up as well. So if calling doesn't work, you can text us at any time. We're always willing to help out. But we here work in the hours of 9:30 to 6 Mountain Standard Time during the week. And then on the weekend, we're here 9 to 5 Mountain Standard Time as well. So if you're on the East Coast, West Coast, if you're out on another country, we'll definitely help you out. We'll do our best.
And I mean, if none of that works, you can hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, Edge Power Sports. We reply to messages all the time, so nothing new there.
We do have our own Instagram account, Edge_Parts on Instagram. Feel free to DM us there if you have any questions. We also post promotions and specials on gear, parts, accessories, pretty much all the time. So,
Awesome. Well, gang, I think that's going to wrap it up for the night. Thanks for spending another great time with us. Dirt bike community, it's where it's at. So if you get the chance and you're in the area, stop by the Edge Power Sports. We'd love to just chit chat with you, talk about your experiences, and maybe help you out with some awesome gear out there too. Fantastic, gang. Have a great night. Okay.